Hey y'all, I now have about 250 hours in the game. It's not a whole lot, but I think I've played enough Iron Man games now to where I know generally about the characters that work just about anywhere. So I figured I'd make a little guide on it. So basically this is the simplest guide I could make, and it applies to just about anywhere. Either you're going to be making a money-focused character, or you are going to be making a martial-based character. These are really the only two kinds of characters that are great for starting out. Diplomat might work if you're choosing to start as a higher title, like an emperor would be good for like the Byzantine Empire or the Holy Roman Empire. But generally these things aren't good for low-level accounts, which is just about all I play. So yeah, you're only going to be going with one of these things. So I'm going to show you the economic build first, and then I'll show you the martial build. And basically, the economic build is for European titles and feudalized areas, like some Muslim areas of the world aren't terrible for an economic build, and all of Europe, all of Central Europe is generally a good idea. Any Christian nations especially, that's really where I've had the most success with this kind of character. And usually what you want to do is you just want to get Fortune 3. Fortune 4 would also work if you want to have less inheritable traits. But if you want a rather easy game, Intelligent is a very good trait to get. It gives you 3 to every category, which is very strong, and you're going to want your kids to have this if you're planning to have a long game. So generally I'll grab that. And then this is a very important thing. You want to always have your character on age 16. There's no reason for you to not have him at 16, because all it does is it gives you more time to play the game. Essentially, you're going to have, rather than being 25 and having X amount of years less before you die, say at 85, then you're going to have that many more years to conquest and build up your empire. So and you get more customization points for being younger. So there's really no point to being 16. I say 16 because that's when you get your education trait, and so you need to be 16 in order to select Fortune Builder. So we get Fortune Builder, we get Intelligence, and then generally I like to put a bit in Prowess, just because typically I'm leading my armies. And then another very good trait, which is very strong but is actually very cheap, is Shrewd. It's only 50 points. It gives you +2 in every category. Look at that, we're at 16 Stewardship, 10 Martial, 10 Diplomacy, we're in 10 everything. That gives us enough points to choose things like Blade Master. Well, no, not Blade Master, but we could still, we could get things like Raider, or things like Military Engineer, or Unyielding Defender, which are all a lot of good traits. So generally what I would do for a Christian economic character is I would apply my points where I need them for the rest of these points. So we already have 2 traits that are very good, plus a good education. So really all we're going to want to do is, if we're leading our armies, is there we go, or we will have 13 there. Then we'll have 2 more Martial and 1 more, and then let's get not that. Yeah, we'll cap it off at 397, but this is overall a very general good any kind of feudalized nation build. It works just about for anything. So yeah, here's what to kind of guide what you're building your characters off of, and then I'll show you the Martial real quick, which is essentially the same, just with Martial. Alright, so I got a completely new character. I'm going to show you how to do the Martial build generally now. So usually for a Martial build, you're not going to want Learning, Intrigue, and Diplomacy. Usually you're only going to use those skills when you're a feudalized nation. So it's really not that important when you're some kind of warlike nation. You're really going to want a lot of Martial and a lot of Prowess, which makes sense. And then you're going to want a bit of Stewardship, because it's gonna be a while before you can actually form that duchy, because as a tribal society, you're not gonna be getting a whole lot of money in the beginning unless you're raiding properly. So what you're gonna want to do is you're going to want to change your education to either skilled tactician if you want more points, or what I would do is brilliant strategist. This will give us 8+ points, so we'll get that. It'll also help us train our offspring later on, and then we're going to pump some points in prowess, and we'll pump some points in steward, and then we're going to want to get blade master. And then we're also gonna want to get that intelligent trait. Lower our age to 16. Probably put this too high. Get that one down. Alright, and then that's pretty decent for any kind of tribal place. You get 15 martial, which is gonna get a good boost to your levies. You'll get 14 prowess. You should be able to duel just about everyone, and your prowess can go up later on. As you do certain encounters. Like usually by the end of my lifetime, or well, at my peak, I could usually get up to around 21 to 22 prowess, which is very good. You can duel most people. And then stewardship, this should get you, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 counties to hold at once, which is maybe not 6 or 7, but maybe like 5 or 6, which is pretty good starting out. So overall, this is very good for tribal places, and that's really the only 2 characters you really need on like a basic level. If you're doing more complex things like forming a religion or taking over a large kingdom, then yeah, there's more complex characters for that, but generally that's the only thing 2 you need. So yeah, that's it.
Loving and fighting this